welcome. So glad everybody could join us this afternoon. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful broadcast. We've got a lot to cover. So quite honestly, we're going to dive right in because there's just no way that we can get it all done if we don't. So, and we'll probably talk decently fast. I apologize in advance. In case you don't know, if this is one of the first broadcasts you've been on, my name is Matt Hicken. I'm the Senior Vice President of Consulting here at Billgoodmarketing. I've been in the industry for a little over 24 years and have been traveling, visiting offices all around the country for a good portion of that.
Okay. And I'm Megan. I'm a success coach here at Billgoodmarketing and an on-site consultant. I've been working at Billgoodmarketing for over 3 years now. But before then, of course, I was working in efficiency, sales, marketing, all kinds of things that is all experience I bring to Billgoodmarketing and the clients I work with here. But
yeah, and thousands of hours of coaching clients.
Thousands of hours of coaching.
She's done a phenomenal job here. So here's the deal. These broadcasts, these webinars are awesome. We have a lot of information to give. However, I'd like to make sure that those that attend live are able to get all the information that you possibly could get out of it. So if you have any questions or if you have any comments or if you have anything that you want to share, please drop that into the chat or into the Q&A. Either way, we're watching both. That way we can see it. Now, do keep an eye on the chat because there will be links posted there throughout or other little notes. And plus, you may want to see what other people are asking and get their answers too. So do interact with us. Let's not make this me talking at this camera because that would be all kinds of boring. So next, obviously, if you've never attended our webinars, we always like to give something away, but we ask that you give us some information so we can give you even more. So all you have to do is wait to the very end of this broadcast. If we'll give you a link, you'll answer a few questions, and then you'll be able to download this prospecting guidebook. Now, I got to be honest, like I was a little nervous about giving out all this information, but everybody tells me it's okay. So we're going to give out a lot in this guidebook. There's a lot of great information. The channels that we talk about, the prospecting ideas that we talk about, they're all in here. So this is going to be a good one. It's pretty big. You definitely want to stay to the end to read that. And make my team right. So that being said, our goal here at Billgoodmarketing is to help our advisors double your production or work half as much. And obviously the very first thing I typically hear when I see that is, what about both? Yeah, totally. You can do that too. But the key here is that you have to have the right systems in place. And I've made the mistake recently of saying it's super easy. It's a lot of work. It's super easy for me to give you the formula and exactly how to get it done. Once we talk to you, especially Megan and I both do consultations where we'll come into your office, we will evaluate everything, talk through team, we will see what the hangups, the sticks are, and unstick them so that you can then achieve your goals. So there is a set path. There is an easy way to get you there. It takes a lot of hard work on your part and your team's part to execute, but 100% can get you there. And one of the things that we can do just to kind of see, okay, well, what is sticking? And therefore, what would be the best way to solve this is to get one of our 2-year growth roadmap. And basically what that is you will talk to our consultants here. They'll talk through everything that's going on for you, everything that you want to accomplish. And then they will set you up on a basic path. They'll give you some ideas of what you should work on based upon all the best practices our company has found for over 45 years that have worked for advisors all across North America. So really great offer. All you have to do is fill out the survey at the end, or actually the link also is there in the chat. So.
And actually, one of the most exciting parts of this offer is because I was talking to our growth team about it just earlier today, is that it's not a boxed up plan that they're giving you. It's a full in-depth analysis of your goals, of the challenges that you're facing, and really figuring out what is going to work for you, which is what we're actually going to be talking about today as well. So yes, it was actually pretty exciting to hear everything that they're going to do.
Yeah, again, giving away a lot today.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our agenda because so let me give you some backstory. When we were talking about what we wanted to do for a webinar, the very first thing we talked about was, look, like it's October. It's now you should be thinking about how your 2026 is going to go. If you're not already thinking about it or not already setting out your plans for your business strategy meeting, get that done. By the end of this call, you will. You'll definitely have some thoughts for it, but this is definitely the time to be thinking about it because you've got a lot of things to start getting into place, things that you'll need to ramp up. As we talk through some of the different channels, you'll understand that. But my thought was, this is a perfect time. This is the perfect time to review it. We talked about this before in other broadcasts, but it seems like every year we get more information, even more best practices about how to best go about this. So when we talked about that, then Megan and I put our heads together and decided, okay, well, these are the things that you need to know best. And what it really comes down to is the fact that I think there's a big problem and a little bit of a disconnect with most plans and the numbers. So we're going to cite a lot of numbers today, and hopefully help you get some of that part of the equation in place so that you can do the math and have a phenomenal 2026. So we'll start off with what could be missing from your plan. We'll talk through how to set goals. We'll talk through the 12 different prospecting channels and why and how to use them. And then we're going to talk about, okay, well, how can you time those different channels depending upon which ones you do choose to best target everything. Did I cover all that?
Yeah.
I think that's what we decided. So that's at the very least the agenda. And again, we've got quite a bit to cover. So what I want to talk about briefly are those numbers. So first off, when you're setting out your business plan, first thing you want to take a look at is, who are your ideal clients? Who are the people that you're trying to replicate or grow by, period? I was talking to an advisor the other day that has been working in one particular niche and has been focused in on that and has done a decent job. But now that he's entering the later stages of career and has gained a couple of clients in his target niche, he's decided, hey, that's really where I want to go. In which case, yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of clients to define that niche by, but he needs to define it. So you need to create your ideal client persona. We've talked about that on another broadcast, but that ideal client persona is what's going to allow you to very clearly target folks. So what's included, just real quick, demographic information. You've got to have that on an ideal client persona. Age, marital status, if it is gender, and then also location, where they typically live, occupation, if there's a commonality there. But we want to make sure that all of those things are documented. Now, here's one of the keys, and you've probably seen this too. Don't, like, a lot of people fall into this trick or problem of saying, ooh, but if I say X, then I'm going to exclude everybody from Y to Z. Okay, yeah, that's good, right? That's what you want. You want to target a particular niche and dominate it. Now, if you're like, hey, but I've done well with medical professionals, I've done well with business owners, and I've got right in my backyard a great group of young professionals, the Henrys, right? So the high earners, but not rich right now. So, no, not rich yet. That's what it is. Sorry. So that great. Pick one or two of them, right? Then maybe if you've got another advisor in the office, they can be the specialist for the other category. But it falls into this whole thing of, if you're the specialist for everybody, I mean, are you really? Like that's kind of the question, right? You can't specialize in targeting and helping everyone. I need to speak to the people that I'm targeting, which is why we're drawing up this ideal client persona and show them how I can overcome their obstacles, and I am uniquely qualified to be their guide. So in your ideal client persona, draw out the demographic information, add in a summary. What are some of the things what are their hopes? What are their dreams? What is their typical situation? So I think I was reading a stat that it was something like 67% of business owners are looking for a potential for a succession plan. So maybe they're within 5 years, business owners within 5 years of an exit. So and that would be part of my summary information. Married with kids, kids are highly important and leaving them a legacy. Whatever the information is, write that into the summary, and then list out all of the common obstacles that particular person, your ideal client, is going to be facing. If you're unsure, there's plenty of research out there. You can delve into it. Use AI to do some research. I'd use Perplexity for that. But really delve in and get a lot of stuff, or you can always ask us. We're happy to walk through what we've seen others see as far as the obstacles that those that demographic might be facing. But hopefully you already have clients that are in that area that you can then dive into and see, okay, what were the obstacles you helped them overcome? What were the processes, systems, things that you said did walk them through in order to solve that? Because that's your unique ad, right? And then that's the final part. Like, what do you add to these people? What are the services? What are the things that you do for these people to help them overcome those obstacles? Draw this all up on paper. And I want everybody on the team to have a copy of it. I want them to understand exactly what it is that we do and who we're trying to serve. Once you've, so use Perplexity for your research side of developing that ideal client profile for Todd Day's question. Great question. So perplexity.ai, that's a better one for research, I find. It pulls back a lot of studies, things along those lines, rather than, what do they call it? Hallucinations. Yeah, ChatGPT hallucinates the answers it thinks you want. So not that you can always program it to prompt that out, but I like Perplexity just to give me research studies.
Yeah. And the great part about this exercise as well is that it does create those stories so that you get to know your target clients. It's not just about what they do for work. It's not just about their age. It's not just about their gender and where they live. It's about, just like Matt was saying, what they care about. Yes. So if you, and the client profiles that Matt actually wrote as examples for our advisors on coaching, they are written like stories. So you read it and it's like, you know, that person, which makes it a lot easier to start implementing some of these prospecting channels that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah. So, and once you have that ideal client persona drawn up, then you should have a pretty clear idea about, again, with the list of services that you're going to need to use to best serve that ideal client, what are the requirements for that? So this is one of those parts to the planning process that people miss, right? And that is, how many ideal clients can I realistically serve in the way they need to be served? We typically say, oh, no, totally. I could take on 20 more ideal clients. Cool. If each of them take up an hour or two every quarter, just in meeting time and phone calls and seeing them face to face, taking them out to dinner, inviting them to events. If they're all, those groups of people are taking up a decent amount of time, do you have enough time to bring on another 20 while not completely ditching the rest of your book and continue to prospect? You could. I mean, maybe that's the answer is, oh yeah, man, I totally could. Great, but do the math, right? Actually go through the process of solving what numbers do you need to achieve in order to get to that end goal. So that's typically one of the things that's missing. We always say, well, I want 20 million in new assets. Well, cool. What does that mean? If it's 20 new clients because they're $1 million each on average, cool. Can you serve that? Can you follow through on all the things that they need? Can you deliver the planning, the strategies that are necessary for that person on top of everybody you already have? If the goal is to say, hey, man, I want to double in 2 years, which is obviously what we guarantee. And currently you have 100 million in assets and we have to get to 200 million. That means we have to grow by 100 million. If we're saying, well, our ideal is $1 million plus, so let's say the average is $1 million, that's 100 new households. You can't realistically hit that number in a year. I mean, maybe you could if you have multiple advisors, but if it's a single advisor with a single support staff, that's not happening. You've got to plan on it being stretched out or raise that size, right? Go up to 2 million. Now suddenly we've halved the number of people we need to bring in. So whatever it is, but start looking at those numbers. What does it take to serve? And then what time does it take to do that? The next thing that is typically missing from business plans is the feedback and help from your team. We'll be talking about a lot of campaigns ideas. I've been to so many offices, as I know you've been to offices, where the advisor is like, we're doing this. These are great ideas. We're going to do this. And wholesalers, I used to be in your seat. Wholesalers come through and they pass on an idea that some other advisor grew $1 billion practice off of, and you're like, oh, I got to get on it. And then the team is... you suddenly have major turnover in staff because they're all burning out because you're overloading it. So get their feedback, get their help, walk through things with them. Whatever it takes along those lines. So a question came into chat. I really love all these questions. This is awesome. So please keep them up. Is there a way that this can be sent to me later? I've got a last minute meeting and really would like to watch the full webinar. Kind of, sort of. So we will let you know that once the recording is out there, and then yes, you can go onto our website, and the recording will be available to you. You'll miss the brilliant opportunity to ask questions, but I also understand meetings do take precedence, so it will be recorded. Or is it? No, is being recorded. So that being said, next piece. What are some of the goals you need to set? And let me address this first. I've had some advisors tell me that I don't believe in setting goals. That's kind of like a knife to the heart. That just hurts. You have to set goals. You got to be aiming for something. Whether it's growth or not, if it's work half as much, cool. Like, what does that mean? How many vacation days does that mean in a year? What does that mean as far as your hours? Is it, hey, I'm going to stop working Fridays? That's awesome. Good for you. Let's do it. But we have to have that goal to strive for, right? We have to have something that we then have milestones to achieve in order to reach that destination. So otherwise, we end up somewhere, and we need to go to a place. So set out very clear goals as far as how many clients you're going to serve, how many of those are ideal clients, and how many are you going to serve versus your team if you have a service advisor. Talk about your growth in assets or production or whatever the number is that you're shooting for. We had one year, one of our big goals was to increase our ROI because it was exceptionally low. We had only 50% of our accounts were in managed accounts. So we were doing a massive conversion and wanted to keep an eye on what that ROI looked like throughout the year. So whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you need to change, make sure that that's written out, because obviously the statistics on written goals versus the ones that are just up in your head is just, these don't work. So you got to do the ones that are written down. And then that also allows your team to stay on top of it. And then one of the other things that I often see missing in plans is the constant look back. We tend to create this beautiful plan, and maybe some of you are doing this. You're off site with your team and you guys create a wonderful thing, and then you come back and everybody's hyped up, and for the first month or so we're somewhat keeping it in mind, and then after that then we get bogged down in tax season stuff, and by the time tax season's over, we're just kind of going, and we're like, hey, we got to do something to bring in business, and before we know it, it's August, October, you're attending a webinar talking about business planning, you're like, oh shoot, yeah, we had a plan for last year. So definitely make sure that it's on a weekly basis. You're looking at those goal numbers that you set and seeing and tracking where you are in the milestone progress of achieving those objectives. But those are the big keys as far as setting up these goals, looking at some of the math, and then some of the things that we often see missing. But I mean, ultimately, most of you probably joined this because you're into growth and you're looking for growth. So we're going to talk about those campaigns.
Yes. So this is all leading up to what prospecting channels you need to be implementing to see that growth that you're looking for. So this is actually, I think, that one of the first webinars that we've done where we've actually gone over all 12 prospecting channels that we have in Bill Good Marketing. We usually go over 6 or 8. I felt very ambitious this time, thinking that we could go over all 12 in the time allotted. So we may be going over a little bit fast, but we're going to do it. So the image that we have here is, of course, listing all 12 of the prospecting channels that we support here at Bill Good Marketing, that we have plans for, that we have processes for, that we coach to. And all of these are going to be taken into consideration, which ones are going to be best for you in that 2-year roadmap to a double. The way that we have this organized right here is those top 5 are actually our relationship marketing prospecting channels. These are ones that if you have an established book, and if you're a little social, especially, then these are definitely ones that we are suggesting that you implement. The ones there on the bottom in the light blue, those are going to be more your outside prospecting channels, the ones where you're reaching out to people that you don't really know, your mass marketing with your direct mail, cold calling, tipping, those kinds of things. And we're going to go over all of these as well, what goes into each one of them, the expected numbers for all of them. And even Matt was going through and calculating the cost of bringing in a new client per channel. So you'll be able to see that ROI, which is actually really exciting. I love those numbers. The one right there in the middle, webinars, we're going to be going over as well. We put that in the middle because it kind of crosses over between the mass marketing and the relationship mapping, because you can kind of use it for both your current client set and prospects. So one of the things that we do want to talk about as well, because this is a question that we get a lot, is actually what should be my marketing budget? So like I said, we're going to be talking about how much it costs to be bringing in new clients through each one of these channels. And so how much should I be spending on marketing? Typically what we see is for a larger team that is a $1 million producing team, we see about 40 grand a year being spent on marketing on the various marketing channels that they have. That does not include salaries, keep in mind, but that does include events, the postage, the materials that goes into it, the dinners, if you're doing dinner seminars, things like that. So do keep that in mind as we're going through this.
Yeah, client gifting and all that.
Yeah.
So it's not just because that's all marketing, right? It's all communicating with our market. So that's all counted, but yeah.
Yeah, because referrals, a big part of that is going to be actually the retention and engagement formula, and that's where we're going to start off with. So the referrals, the numbers that we are expecting from that for the portion of your clients that you are actively promoting referrals to, we are expecting about 15% of them to be giving you a referral every year. So keep in mind that we do say the clients that you're promoting referrals to, that is something that I always have to specify there. So it is a targeted campaign. You don't have to promote referrals to those clients that you don't want to reproduce. So pick and choose.
Yeah.
So yeah. I get that question every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So we are also looking at a cost per new client through this process to be about $2,000. Keep in mind that for the referrals, for promoting those referrals, it is a lot of building relationships with your clients. So that is going to be the retention and engagement formula, which we have all that information for those who are working with us. But all that includes the events, like Matt said, the client gifting, the etiquette formula, the time for doing the phone calls, for doing the meetings, all of that is going into that $2,000 per new client through these referrals. So with the referrals, of course, we have a couple of best practices on the screen, and I am going to be covering 2 best practices per channel just to kind of give you an idea of how to start implementing these. So the first best practice is to promote referrals, don't ask for them. I think that we have all been in that situation, that really uncomfortable situation where you're sitting across the table from a salesman or from, a professional that you're working with, and they slide across that piece of paper and they say, okay, just go ahead and give me a couple of names of some people that I should be working with. Write down their name, their phone number, their email address, and it creates bad feelings. You don't want to be doing that with the people that you're working with. It's not very often that you actually get good referrals through that process anyways. So
because as Bill would say too, so I was one of those jerks in a former life that was calling people about timeshares, and that was one of our rules was you couldn't get off the phone unless you got them to give you a name of somebody else you should call, which to me was, even then, before Bill had this great Billism, which I say this truth stated, it was like, you're not going to get any referrals. You'll get a name maybe, but honestly, if somebody was doing that to me, I'd probably give him Tony's name because he's my best friend and I'd love to mess with him, but he 100% wouldn't be a good candidate. So to me, Bill says a referral is a name volunteered, meaning they think that this person would do well by working with you. I can't get that if I'm telling the client to give me a name.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So a big portion of promoting referrals is actually to be educating the client in that process of who you would best work with, the value that you can bring to them, how you can help them, and even bringing in how you have helped that client that you're talking to, the value that you have brought to them. So it's a little bit of education. It's a little bit of just letting them know that you are open to new clients and letting them know who they should be referring to you. And actually for those on the BGM system, we do have a new referral video that goes through the exact way of how to build out these scripts. I may have actually written that and recorded it.
Good video.
So we do have a lot of referral scripts. We have a lot of referral postscripts, which actually brings me to the second best practice.
I missed. Sorry, my bad.
He's getting click happy over here. It's all about promoting the referrals over the phone and in person using the rehearsed referral conversations. So, like I said on that video, I give you the formula to kind of come up with it in the moment. But especially when you're starting having those rehearsed conversations, those rehearsed referral promotions is going to make it a lot easier. Generally, when I'm talking to advisors and their teams when they are first starting this process, it starts to feel a little salesy and they start to feel a little uncomfortable with it. We just have them go through those rehearsed conversations and those rehearsed promotions and help them really see that what we're doing is offering service. It's not a sales kind of mindset when you're doing referrals. It really is offering service and offering help to the people you're talking to.
Yep, totally.
Okay, so number 2 is actually introductions. We've started to refer to it as cloning because we are trying to clone your best clients. So this is the next step to the referral process. It's not just, hey, I've helped you in this way. This is the kind of person I'm looking to work with. Send them my direction. This really is, you told me about this person. I would love to get to know them. How about we go out for a cup of coffee? And how about we go play a round of golf? You told me that you like pickleball. Let's go play pickleball, something like that. It's creating processes that you are in, situations that you are having your client bring over their friends and their family, the people that you want to get to know so that they can introduce you. The success rate for this is actually about 24% for the clients that you are promoting introductions to, because, you're taking them out to lunch, you're taking them out to a concert or something like that, and just basically creating a really fun time for them and for their friends and creating the situation, a social situation.
And typically, most of the teams that I work with, they have between 15 to 20 of those clients they can clone. Because there's obviously criteria that beyond just AUM that are necessary in order to clone them. So the ones that they can clone, typically 15 to 20. And I only say that because I've had just about every single one of them. They're like, oh, that doesn't seem like many. It's plenty, actually. Because you invite 2 or 3 of them to each one of these ideas that Megan's talking about, and at a time, and you can go through that 8, 9 different events before you're having to cycle back through. So it is enough to continue to grow.
Yes, and one of those criteria that Matt is mentioning here is actually for them to be a center of influence. They have to be a social kind of person. The person who sits at home on their couch and just wants to watch the latest episode of whatever show they're watching, they're not really going to be the kind of person that is going to be a great opportunity for introductions, because they're not going to want to go out to these social events. So
Exactly.
find the COIs on your book, the centers of influence, and the ones that you do want to be cloning through this introduction process.
And I'm sorry for laughing, but Jeff had a great comment.
Oh,
just
there's
a lot of different event ideas, but as his point was, not a Coldplay concert. But hopefully that's not a problem.
Hopefully that's not a situation that we're worried about here.
But thank you for jumping in, Jeff.
Yes.
I love the sharing, everyone.
Love the comments. It makes it so much better. So the cost per new client here is again going to be about $2,000 per new client, because again, we are looking at the cost of the event. We're looking at the retention formula. We're looking at the engagement formula. We're looking at all the communication that is going into really cultivating this relationship with the client that you are promoting the introductions to, which has multiple benefits, not just the introductions. So you're going to be spending that money anyways, promote the introductions.
Yes.
So the best practices that we're looking at here, map your client relationships to find out who your clients know that you want to know. So this does go into that COI, criteria that we were talking about. We do want to be knowing your clients, what they're interested in. We want to know what organizations they're involved in. Are they the homeroom mom for their kids' grade school? Are they the soccer coach? Are they going out and volunteering on weekends? Are they on the board of some organization or something like that? We want to know who they know, so that when you do have those conversations and you're promoting those introductions, it's not just, hey, bring a friend. It's, hey, bring that person that you told me about and that shares an interest with you and that I also share. So the second best practice is going to be holding those small targeted social events. So that is going to be, just like we were talking about, based on your clients' hobbies, their interests, the people that they know, what they want to go out and do, and what you would also enjoy doing. Keep in mind that that is a big part here. You have to enjoy going as well, or it's going to be awkward and nobody's going to enjoy themselves. So
Accurate.
yeah, that's a big part of it.
But when you do it and you enjoy it, like they are so much fun.
Yeah.
We stopped doing, when I was in the business, other than one of these other channels we'll talk about, we stopped doing just about everything else because we had enough clients at this stage to be able to do this. And why would I go do a seminar or cold call or do direct any of these other things if I could get enough new business by hanging out with clients that essentially were just good friends, and have them bring friends who were similar to them that we could just have a lot of fun with. Like, to me, I don't understand why anybody would not do this form of marketing, because it's really just having fun, like, and then you're getting business for it.
Exactly. Yeah. So number 3, and this is actually one that gets missed quite often. When I'm first starting to work with a advisor, they're just coming on to coaching, and we're talking about their prospecting, and I always find out that they have a big list of existing prospects that just kind of fell off of the radar, that they stopped talking to, they stopped reaching out to, but they spent all this time and money to actually cultivate that relation to begin with. We just have to go back and we have to warm it back up. So this is actually a really great one to be focusing on as well. So the numbers that we have for this, if you follow through on the sales pipeline and through on these best practices, we actually look at about 10% of your existing prospects should be becoming A-level prospects per year. The old prospects, and these are the prospects that you haven't talked to for 6 months or more, we're looking at about 5 to 10% per year.
And if you're wondering what A prospects are, go read Bill's book, if you haven't already read it.
Yeah.
Or if you're on the system, then we've got loads of documents that walk you through it, including the sales pipeline booklet. Managing them in that tiered system, like by categorizing the prospects that way, is how you
Makes
get
it a lot easier. Yes, which actually brings us to our first best practice: implement the sales pipeline process.
Yes. Sorry.
So the sales pipeline process is really all about what we were just talking about, categorizing your prospects, making sure that you know what they need is basically that process. Just to give a little bit of a tip here, and all of this is actually laid out in the guidebook that is part of the goodie bag, so make sure that you're filling out that form. But the A-level prospects, they are ready for an appointment. A stands for appointment. We make it easy to remember it. So we are looking at turning those existing prospects into those A-level prospects that are ready for that appointment, ready to sit down with you and learn about what value you can bring to them and how you can be helping them and talking to you about becoming a new client. So we are looking at about 10% of your existing prospects, 5 to 10% of those old prospects, which takes us to our next best practice, which is running the old prospect card campaign.
I got it right.
There we go. So the old prospect card campaign is a campaign that Bill created, I don't know how many years ago, but it's still relevant and it still works.
Yeah.
It's amazing that it's the way that these letters are written, they speak to people on an emotional level. And that is part of the old prospect card campaign. It's speaking to them on an emotional level and basically asking them if they are still interested, highlighting some of the values that you can be bringing to them, and giving them the opportunity to either jump back into the sales pipeline or to get out of it, in which case we do have a process for how to manage that, how to be keeping their data, how to be warming that up possibly in the future, to be continuing to use that information. So you're not losing anything here. You're actually gaining time because you aren't trying to continuously manage and communicate with people who aren't interested anymore. So the second best practice is taking those old prospects that you haven't talked to or that that haven't responded to you for 6 months or more, running the old prospect card campaign, warming some up, pushing some others to the side so that you are creating more room in your team to be concentrating on those existing prospects that want your attention right now.
Yeah, and honestly, what we recommend is you keep your total number of prospects under 100. That's what we see can actually be managed realistically, so long as they are active prospects, meaning they're not just people on a list.
Yes. So I didn't mention the cost of bringing on new clients from this channel, and really that's because it's a little bit difficult to calculate, just because they could have been sourced from multiple different channels. So we don't really have numbers for that on here. It just depends on where you source them from. So number 4, strategic partnerships. We talked about how introductions and referrals were about $2,000 per new client. This actually beats it at about $1,500 per new client. And this is one of the best ROIs that you are going to be getting off of any of these channels. And there's a couple of reasons why. Strategic partnerships, they bring a lot of value to your book, not just through referrals, which we do actually estimate with a good strategic partnership that follows our strategic partner process, which we have just recently actually updated, made it easier with the same results and the same success rate, which just makes me very happy and very excited. So with that, we are expecting for them to be giving you 1 to 2 referrals every year. So it's a really great way to be growing your book of business, especially if you have anywhere from 6 to 8 strategic partners. That could be anywhere from 6 to 16 referrals every single year.
And we do have some superstar partners out there that are generating 20 to 30 new leads a year, but those are rare. So we do typically, on average, expect at least 1 to 2.
Yeah, all these numbers are averages just from what we have seen to give you a good idea of what you're shooting for. But hey, we do have a lot of people that are far exceeding these numbers as well.
Yep.
Yep. So first best practice here is to make a list of professionals who work with your existing clients. In this strategic partner process that we have laid out, we do have a couple of different lists that you're going to be creating. The first one is going to be this one, because it is so much easier to create a effective and successful strategic partnership with a professional that you already have a connection with, that you already share clients with, that you know that you have a similar target audience. Which of course is going to be extremely important, because these strategic partners, it's all about finding non-competing professionals that are looking to grow, that have a similar target audience to you, and are actually willing to work with you to bring value to your shared clients.
And they have to operate as an influencer, right? Because there's a big difference in some of the professions. Like, I've seen some advisors that try to form partnerships with even CPAs, quite honestly. If the CPA is a tax preparer and not a tax planner, that's not potentially a good partner. If a real estate agent is a transactional thing, exit. I bought my house 5 years ago, and my real estate agent still sends me messages and updates and checks in. That is an influencer versus a transactional. So your partner must be non-competitive, but also an influencer amongst your ideal clients, and then be willing to help.
Yep. And we have a really great list of potential strategic partners from advisors that we work with, and the successful partnerships they've created, because everybody thinks of the estate planning attorneys and the CPAs, but we've actually had, there's so many more. Like you said, the real estate agents, the high-end sales men, for boats and things like that. We just have so many stories and so many ways that we can be creating these partnerships.
Yeah.
I'm not going to we're going to run out of time.
I know, we're going to go faster. Sorry.
Go faster.
Keep interrupting.
For the second best practice, it is all about just basically starting a conversation. So we do have a process for starting this conversation before even the lunch appointment. Typically what I suggest is sending out a letter introducing yourself, which we have a really great letter in the letters library for this introduction process, calling them up to introduce yourself after they have seen the letter and seen a little bit of your bio and what you're all about. And then, setting up a lunch appointment, getting to know each other. We do have a very nice questionnaire as well, covering the information that you should be gathering from this first appointment. But it really is that easy.
Yeah, totally. And just to throw this out there, and we'll put a link. One of our speakers at AdvisorCon that's coming up in May is going to be going through pretty in depth on exactly how he's gone through this whole process that we prescribe, step A through B, Z, and give you everything that he's done, plus the little twists and turns that he's added to it to make it really actually fascinating Can't label it a best practice yet, but it sounds like it's going to be really cool. And he'll be laying that all out at AdvisorCon. So I highly recommend, whether you're using our system or not, you can come to AdvisorCon and get all of that information. So, and it'll be in Nashville this coming year, which is always a fun city.
Always fun. So number 5, social connections. This is also if you have been around for a while and you've seen a lot of the Bill Good marketing materials before, this is the Wilson campaign, basically. That's generally what people
Yes.
sparks a little bit of recognition. So with the social connections, this campaign is basically your own personal social connections from your own personal network. Those people that you know that you would like to work with, but that it would be socially unacceptable for you to really sell to. You don't want to be the person that walks into the church picnic and everybody turns around and walks the other way and you're just left there next to the punch bowl by yourself because nobody wants your sales pitch. So this is a socially acceptable way to be reaching out to these connections and just basically letting them know what you bring, what you can offer them, and that you're willing to help so that they feel comfortable coming and starting that conversation with you. It's a really great relationship building way to be also growing your book and to be helping the people that you care about with some challenges that they could be facing. So we are looking from this campaign to be bringing in about 10% every single year. It takes about a year for this really to be kicking off the ground. But actually, I have some advisors that I've been working with that they were starting to get new prospects from this within like 3 or 4 months.
Totally.
So yes, it kind of depends.
Plan a year.
Yeah, plan a year. We always say plan a year, but I have seen it turn around a lot faster than that. So also with this campaign, we are looking at if you have over 100 people in this pipeline, that it's going to be about $2,000 per new client. So the first best practice is to build a list of the people that you know that you would like to do business with, just like we said. And the second would be to begin building top of mind awareness with your connections by sending a printed no key letter each month. This is going to be, like I said, our Wilson campaign. Dick Wilson created this campaign with Bill Good decades ago, and it's still holding true today. We have hundreds of letters that are all no key, feel good, educational, that are really great for this campaign.
So now, just to summarize these first 5, because we're going to zip through the rest of them. Mm-hmm. These first 5, if you at the beginning were like, well, Matt and Megan, my target market of the ultra high net worth or the high net worth, these first 5 are your channels. Like these are the ones that you need to dominate. And then this one in particular with the social connections, you need to be out there connecting. Join the clubs, join the charities, whatever it is, join the boards, be a part of the groups that they're a part of, and then do it for that cause or for that club. So, for example, I've got a great advisor that I get to work with who is he's a car guy. Just sent me pictures of it. He got his Porsche, gorgeous vehicle, but he's joining the Porsche club because he loves cars. He loves the Porsche, and when you're a part of that group, they get together, they do drives, they do a lot of stuff, and Porsches are not cheap. So people that are typically in that group, they have money. There's looks like Todd is sharing the Rose Society. And I would agree. Sometimes poor people don't plant roses. So that being the case, whatever it is, but you have to have a reason, right? You have to want to belong to the group or the charity or whatever it is. While you're there, you'll make friends because you're there doing whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing. As you make those friends, then you add them into this campaign, which is no business. That's why it says no key. It's not discussing a business. It's not leaning over to them, asking what their liquid net worth is. It's just moving them on. So that's how you do it, is you belong to those networks, build it up, add them to this campaign. If you have that, strategic partnerships, and then if you don't have any existing clients, sure. But if you do, start leveraging those relationships, and then you should have a pretty good, consistent growth rate for those high net worth and ultra high net worth people. And now we got to zip through it. Sorry.
Yep. We got to go fast. So next is going to be webinars. Like we talked about, this is going to be beneficial for both your prospects and for your clients. It's a great way to be putting out educational materials and actually some of the videos that we're going to be putting out in the eGorilla here over the next month or so is going to be giving you a step-by-step process on how to do webinars. Everything from how to choose your topic based on your target audience all the way through the follow-up, which really is bringing us to those best practices. Digital elaborate slideshow. As you can see, we always strip down our slideshows as much as possible. We are giving you the main points here, the things that we really want you to be remembering, but we're not putting up paragraphs of text. The person who is presenting is the presentation. We want your audience to be looking at you, not at your slideshow. So that is one of the big things that we do see. Let's see.
Great question, Patrick. So with social connections, do we personally have to create a list of people's addresses, emails, phones to add to the mailing list? Kind of, sort of. So let me, yes, best thing to do, because there are two routes, but to me, the better of the two is as I'm at those meetings, as I'm at those, get-togethers or whatever, and we're having a great conversation. It's just, hey, by the way, I keep a private mailing list. It's just good letters, good stories that I see on holidays or just educational things out there. Nothing solicitous. I really only send this to my good friends and clients. Would you like to be added to the list?
What I'm hearing is I'm a good friend.
Dang straight. And so that being said, that all I'm doing is trying to get them to the list. And if they say yes, it's awesome. What would be the best place to send that to? I do these as letters because I don't know about you, but I don't like getting them all piled up in my email. So I'd much rather send it to you as a letter. What would be the best place? And then they give me the address. And then I get that going. So as far as creating the list, you can create your target list of who you'd like to connect to, and then go connect. Again, don't do it. I have people join the Chamber of Commerce. So many of those are just like a meat market. It's like speed dating. Everybody's trying to get the other person to want them. And then therefore nobody actually connects because everybody's looking at trying to get people to connect. So it doesn't work. So you have to be going for the cause, for the reason, and then you will be able to make friends. And as you make friends, invite them into this campaign. And ultimately, I had somebody tell me that they're uncomfortable with this idea, but the reality is if they're a friend of yours, wouldn't you want them to have the best? And therefore, if you think you're the best, which I certainly hope everybody on this call thinks you are, then obviously they should be coming to you for help because that's who they need. So great question. Thank you. And now, sorry, we've really got to zip.
Yep. So back to the webinars, that second best practice is just the follow-up. I see it happen all the time where you do the webinars and then they just kind of sit back and heave a big sigh of relief, and that's it. They just sit back and they wait for the people on the webinar to reach out to them. The follow-up is extremely important on your webinars, on your seminars, on really any of these campaigns, but especially for the webinars, that's where I see it fall off the radar really quickly. So. For seminars, this one we do have an entire process for. We can do an entire webinar on seminars.
In fact, we have
honestly,
several times.
yes, several times. We have processes, we have documents, we have actual seminars written out with scripts, with the invitations, with the presentation, with everything. We have some partners that actually will help you find an appropriate place to be holding these dinner prospecting seminars that will help to coordinate with the wait staff and everything. Actually, Matt does a great on-site as well. He's done many this year, that he will actually go out to your office and help you write your first seminar, help you with the invitations, help you actually do your first seminar, give you feedback and everything. This is a great channel that a lot of people have built their businesses off of. The numbers that we are expecting from these, we do expect for the response rate to be about 0.5%, which I know doesn't sound like very much, but that is for individuals with about $750,000 plus in investable assets. So we are shooting for a little bit higher in that in those assets that they can be bringing over. And we are looking to be doing a much larger mailing list to be hitting the numbers that you need to fill these seminars. The average show rate is about 90%. With our process, we do leave a bit of a buffer there for, the babysitter canceling, people getting sick, weather, things like that. But the appointment set rate from those people who come, we shoot for about 50%. I know that Neil McPee Jr. on one of our previous webinars, he was getting much higher than that. He was getting closer to 80 to 100% of people sometimes setting appointments with his process, which of course we have a webinar on that where he shared all the secrets. And actually, Claire from his office is going to be coming to AdvisorCon as well and sharing their entire seminar process, which is going to be very exciting.
Yes.
From that, we do expect 100% of those people who set appointments to show up to the appointment. And from there, it's basically your close rate. We do shoot for at least a 60% close rate from Asset Accelerator, from Matt's sales class that he just teach. We do have people that are, again, up to 80% close rate on some of these. And he talks about that and teaches all about that in that class. But we do see a really great return on investment for these seminars. The cost of new clients from these seminars, on average, depending on location, depending on if you're creating your own presentation versus buying it from somebody else, all of that, on average, we are seeing at about $2,500 per new client. So the best practice here, choose a topic that both inspires and alarms. We want something that is going to be something that they want or something that they are afraid to lose. And we do have some great example seminars and some, like I said, some great seminar presentations as well. And then the best practice number 2 is use a report card evaluation. You can tell if we use report cards on all of our presentations. You should be doing the same thing with your seminar. It gives you really great feedback. It gives you, make sure that you have everyone's contact information, but also it gives you an idea of what exactly they found helpful in that seminar, which then gives you a topic of conversation for when you reach out to them with your follow-up.
Yep.
Okay. Number 8, direct mail. So this is something that we did basically, this and cold calling is basically what we built Bill Good Marketing on. It's still working. What we do look at for this, we are looking at a 0.75% response rate. So even a little bit higher than the response rate to those seminars. About 20% of those people who respond are going to be saying an appointment. So that comes to about, if you send out about 5,000 letters, we're getting about 38-ish responses, about 8 of those set appointments, and then with the close rate, you're looking at about 5 of those people should become clients. The thing is, though, with both the seminars and the direct mail with those lists, is that it's not a one and done kind of situation. You can continue to mail out to these lists multiple times. You can change up the campaign and your different offers. And what we have seen is you buy that list and then it just keeps serving over and over and over again.
Yeah. Now, there is a depreciation on direct mail lists that you do have to account for. But to the point Megan was making, we had one team that was switching back and forth between 2 of our retirement planning campaigns. Did that for over 10 years and maintained that 0.75 or higher response rate, sending it to the same list, essentially. But what we do typically see is at about a 10% per year degradation of your list. So you do want to try to update that every few years.
Yep. So the biggest best practice for this one, and I can actually say this for almost all of the channels on here, is create a process for managing your campaign from start to finish. I've said, the follow-up is one of the most important things, but just having that process of tracking who received what, who responded, if they received the information that they requested, if they received a follow-up call, all of those things, every single step runs the risk of somebody falling through the cracks, and then your return on investment starts to go down because you did all of this work to get those responses and then you didn't follow up on them appropriately. So make sure that you have a good process for your direct mail campaign. Okay. And number 2, this is kind of a BGM secret too, mail mutilation to boost open rates. I know that sounds a little weird to be talking about, but hey, it is October. So what we are looking at here is we see a really great open rate for direct mail. We can talk all day about the rates of email open rates versus direct mail open rates. But what we do want to do is basically use all of the real estate on that piece of mail to create curiosity, to create excitement. And that is mail mutilation is one of the ways that you can be doing that. And what I mean by that is using stickers, rubber stamps. I had an advisor that just spread out the envelopes and had his kids draw on them. We actually had a advisor actually throw them out in the parking lot and drive his truck over, and we don't actually recommend that, but he actually got
Bill said it in a conference like this as a joke. Somebody did it, increased his response rates,
Yeah.
and every time we tell it, somebody else tries it, and they increase response rates. But the post office has asked you not to do it.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So it is one of those things that people are always asking, well, how can I increase my my return on investment for direct mail? That is that's a great way to be able to do that, and just from them looking at the envelope. Okay. Cold calling, the other campaign that the Bill Good Marketing really built the business off of, and he has written at least one book on cold calling. Yeah.
Loads and loads and loads of hours of training back in the day.
Yes, and articles and everything else. And I actually just finished reading Hot Prospects, the book that Bill wrote again. So yeah, it's a great, it's fun.
Right behind
Yeah,
his head.
yeah, right. Sure. With cold calling, we are looking at a process that will allow you to have 50 to 70 dials per hour, which will lead to 2 to 3 leads per hour. So if you are getting less dials per hour or you're getting less leads per hour, that is when we really want to be looking at the offer, looking at the script, looking at your process. And we do have ways to track all of that. We have the scripts, we have the offers, we have everything in our system. With that, the cost per new client is about $3,000 per new client. So the ROI is a little bit lower, but it's a great campaign especially for if you have somebody new in the industry, a sales assistant, somebody like that basically they can be just sitting there dialing the phone all day.
And that's how you get to that cost, by the way, because if it's you dialing the phone, the cost is higher.
Yes. Most of that cost is going into salary and everything else. So the first best practice, buy or develop a targeted list and hone your offer to fit it. And we do have some different tools, some different third parties that we have actually worked with so that you can really create that targeted list so that you know exactly who you are going to be talking to so that you can create that offer that is going to get you those 2 to 3 leads per hour. The second best practice, as Bill says, pick the cherries, not the pits. I hear all the time, I actually have advisors quote this to me every once in a while. Well, people don't know what they want. So I have to convince them that they want this. No, we trust people. We only want to work with smart people, and smart people know what they want. And so if they say, no, I'm not interested, that is where the famous Bill Good Marketing line comes in of thank you very much. You click, you dial the next one, and that's how you get to that high rate of dials per hour as well. Doesn't mean that you're never going to go back to that person. Doesn't mean that they go completely off of your list, but we are trusting people, and that is going to get you the higher rate of leads per hour just by not wasting your time by trying to polish a pit.
Yep. And in interest of time, I think we are going to skip through the next two. You're not really doing tipping anyway, unless you're at Edward Jones. Acquisitions is a totally webinar all in of itself. So we will just leave that. So if you're buying other books of business, that'll be another topic, although just know that we have plenty of material to help you on that. Do you want to briefly talk about digital? Because whether you're doing it as a channel, as in you're looking to get business from it directly or not, you got to do it. So,
and I do want to say that for tipping and acquisitions, again, the goodie bag is going to have a lot of information on that. It's going to have the descriptions of these best practices. It's not going to have the numbers that we were going to go over, but all that other information is in there. And of course, when you call in for your 2-year roadmap to a double, they'll be able to answer a lot of those questions too and let you know if those are going to be good channels for you.
100%. So do stick with us.
Yes. Digital marketing, this is covering a lot of different things. This is covering your website, your social media, your digital ads, all of that. It is a difficult channel to be bringing in a lot of leads and prospects from. I do have a couple of advisors that are bringing in new leads and prospects from this channel. Katie, one of the people that I work with, she's actually going to be presenting at AdvisorCon talking about how she has been spending the past, year or so, really improving their SEO, the responses that they've been getting with that, and how it's actually been helping their sales pipeline channel. I have another one that he actually hired someone to just do digital marketing, and this is how he fills his workshops, and this is how he gets people directed to his website to be requesting ebooks and starting those conversations. So it can work. It just takes a little bit more time, which of course affects the ROI and the cost per client. And it really depends on what your focus is going to be. So for the best practice, build a website that differentiates you. It's really going to be about making sure that that your website doesn't look like everybody else's website, all the other advisors out there. We talk about a lot of times that if you pull up 5 to 10 different advisor websites and just kind of flip through them, after a while they all start to look the same. Old people walking on the beach holding hands. This is something that we do help with in coaching. It's something that I really enjoy doing. I help the advisors that I work with writing their homepages, especially. I have a list of questions that I talk to them about, and we kind of go through this entire process because it's all about setting you apart. The second best practice is create long-term engagement via social media with relevant content. We do have a social media library with some really great social media posts up there that you can white label and post to your own social media. It's all about being available, showing that you are active, and giving people content that they can be looking at to learn more about you with the services that you provide and who you are as a person.
Yeah. And on this one too, on the website, if you come to Asset Accelerator, which I highly recommend, anybody that's on this call is just looking like, how can I do it? Because we'll give you everything you need to do from lead generation all the way through closing and onboarding. But we go over websites pretty heavily together. That's one of the things we do is we assign, while in class, you visit 20 of your competitors' sites that are in your area. And it's fascinating the things that we learn by doing that. So I think to close out, Russell has a great question. And this is actually kind of the point that we were going to make after going through all of these. The question is, if you're short on time and money, what works best? The reality is everything that we've talked about does take time, right? To be honest. If I were to pick one single channel and say, okay, well, I only have time for one thing, and I don't have a lot of money and I don't have a lot of clients, what do? It's strategic partners. Go out there and develop your strategic partners. Even without a lot of clients, you can develop strategic partners. I've done this plenty with advisors. This is half of our new business came from strategic partners. I know exactly how to build it. The steps are out there, so we can go through and help you with that. Plus, it's typically, you have to plan on 1 to 2 hours a week to develop the partners over a period of 6 months. And then after that, it's maybe an hour a week for perpetuity in order to maintain continuing to get those same referrals. But if you think about it this way, if those strategic partners are referring you that $1 million household, that's essentially 16 million in new assets just from that one channel per year if you do everything right. So that would be the place that I would go to. And all it's going to cost you is maybe a lunch or a breakfast. So it's not every week to try to get it built. So not overly expensive. So which is why it's the best ROI. So here's the overall thing. I already mentioned if you're shooting for the high net worth, you have to use the top 5 channels. My thing is we gave these in order of ROI. So start at the top. If I don't have enough clients, work your way down. The next one down was prospects. Well, I don't have any prospects either, Matt. Cool. Work your way down. Then it's strategic partners. Then it's social connections. Go out there and get involved in the clubs and the different organizations and start connecting with people and then add them into this drip process. Then work your way into webinars, seminars, and you can go down from there depending upon what you're interested in and what you're able to accomplish. Now, I will say you can very clearly get high net worth people to come out to seminars. I've done it in the seminars that I've done with folks. So if you are looking for that and you love seminars, but you're like, I'm not getting the high net worth or ultra high net worth to come, we can help you there. It's all about wording and presentation. So we can get that set up for you. But ultimately, set out your plans, look at the numbers that you need to achieve, look at all of the goals that you're trying to go to, look at the clients you're trying to target, and then based upon what we've talked about here, plus we'll give you a second while I'm loading this to download that Prospecting the Good Way guidebook. You can either do the QR code, you can type it in, or you can click the link in the chat. We make it really easy for you to get help and to download this quite a bit of information. So you can get this guidebook that does walk through these channels more in depth. So sit down, read through it, and then start laying out your plan for 2026. And I know it's going to be a great year. All right. Well, get your goodie bag. Hope you have a wonderful evening and a great rest of your week.
Thanks, guys.